Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com. Tijuana today. Light Talk and I are joined by Maxwell Allison. He's a Chicago-based musician, improviser, community man with several malleable projects from the personal Mukqs to Good Will Smith and Babysitter's Club. All have releases on Hazu Mountain, the label he co-runs with Doug Kaplan. How you doing, Max?
Great. Thank you for having me on. So much fun.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Max, dude. So how has like the Chicago spring been treating you, dude?
It's been fun. It's still pretty cold, you know.
Is it?
We've had like a day that was like 80 degrees. It was very nice a couple days ago.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's been like in like the 50 to 60 range. Still very warm. I can just wear a hoodie outside. It's chilly, you know.
That's fantastic.
Is there still snow?
No.
That's dope.
Well, there was. I mean, there were days of snow in April.
Yeah.
As Prince once said, sometimes it snows in April. But it was just like evaporated upon the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Weird. Yeah, we're not too familiar with snow over here in Southern California.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you like snow? Like, I know that,
I love snow. I mean, it can get annoying, but like the moments when it's like white and fresh and nice and like falling upon you are like majestic and great. It's fun.
So do you ever just like walk around and like crunch the snow or anything?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, usually I have to be out when it's snowing for like just walking home from the car or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it happens anyways, but I don't really go out into the snow on purpose to like trudge around because it's cold and it is uncomfortable after a while. But yeah.
When was the last time you built a snowman?
Probably like 10 years ago, dude. It's been a while, unfortunately. I have not had like good yard access for snowman building, you know.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, the yards are hard to come by for sure.
I hear that.
Do you have like a good deck for barbecuing at least or something of that nature?
Yeah.
Never really, no. Live in like an apartment complex that has a porch on which I can sit and smoke, which is fine.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, there's not much barbecuing, you know. Actually, our neighbor recently like got a grill and has it on our decked-in porch, and all of our neighbors are like mad at him. And we live in this big complex, and he has his grill just like blowing smoke up into like the roof of the porch. And everyone's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, no one can talk to him. He's a spooky dude, you know."
Yeah.
We filed like formal complaints to like our representatives, and they were like, "Yeah, it's hella illegal. It could burn the shit down." We're like, "Yeah."
And they just haven't done anything about it. Yeah, dude, that's cool. I guess like within like the last like 3 years, what have we been in like this wild time, right? The unprecedented times. Has it been like 2 years or 3?
Coming up for 27 months.
Okay, yeah. So
27 months.
The 27 months, have you like, what have you been up to? Like, what does like your daily routine look like? I guess, has it changed like from before? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I do a lot of different like part-time jobs in addition to making music and the label stuff, and a lot of it is focused on like individual like one-to-one music lessons and research work that I do for professors at Northwestern where I went to school. I've worked as like a assistant or like a assistant to a professor,
like a TA or something.
Kind of like like a TA, but just like for independent research projects related to their like publications and stuff like that. So I've worked for like a bunch of professors over the years and just helped them with like editing stuff and getting books ready and that kind of stuff.
So are you like, oh sorry, go ahead, I'll let you finish.
No. Well, yeah, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, so you're in school right now?
No, I'm not in school.
Okay.
No, I just work as like I just get paid by the hour for like freelance academic work. Basically.
That's sick, actually. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And then I also do design work and visual artwork and stuff that just like has occasional like paychecks here and there, and then the label pays me a little bit, and I have like a consistent like week by week teaching gig with one student that like pays me, so it's like you just gotta build your own little weird life.
Yeah, dude.
What are lessons like?
Yeah.
How are the kids doing?
So what exactly are you teaching them? Like what aspect of like, are you teaching them music or?
Yeah. I mean, it's all. So I have 3 students now. One is like all the time, and then one, or I guess 2 of them are like kind of infrequent, or like every other week or whatever. But yeah, like it depends on what they want to learn. If they want to learn, I teach one of my students, like I taught him keyboard and bass and guitar, and then now he's like doing like production. So like he like shares the screen and we just talk about making tracks in like Logic or GarageBand or whatever. So yeah, it's just like it's music teaching, but it's all kind of irregular and weird, and like that's kind of the point. I think they just want, when I say they, I mean my students' parents and the students themselves just want to be exposed to different music and be like, okay, I can learn anything I want. I can play any kind of instrument or make any kind of music. Like that's kind of the goal.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's like a holistic music thing that's just like kind of based on their interests,
Yeah, that's pretty sick because I feel like usually when like, I don't know, parents or something are involved with putting their kids in music lessons, it's like you're going to play piano, which like is sick, but also not necessarily the kid may not be into that, or like you're going
to in most of my cases, my students is piano first.
Okay.
And it's even within that context, it's like kind of irregular. Like we're not like pouring over sheet music. It's more like we're listening to music and like learning how to play it or learning how to figure out a song on the piano. And then we're like, okay, like these are the chords or whatever, like, and not thinking about it in terms of like reading a score or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, I heard this like song in this anime that I want to like learn, and then we'll like figure it out,
That's
it's
sick.
fun. Yeah.
So are you teaching them how to like read music too, or is it more just like?
Not really. I mean, yeah, a little bit, of course.
Yeah.
It's like the avenues through which kids or teens or anyone accesses music now is like so decentralized. People can look up tutorials on YouTube how to play any song they want without knowing how to read music.
Yeah.
Or they can just like have the like schema or like the base idea of how to listen to a song and just be like, okay, it's like do 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 do, like it's like you can figure that out, So I don't know. I barely even know how to read music myself. Like I can do it, but I can't sight read and play piano or anything like that. Like, I can't do that. So it's like I've like overcome that vibe, that like lack of discipline in that sense by just focusing on other stuff.
I think that's sick, dude. It's almost like you're kind of like teaching them like DIY music or something like that. Cause like, what I'm saying? Like most people, yeah, exactly. I think that's sick. It's like you're teaching them like exactly what like you're from like your like DIY background, like it's just interesting because like most people that I know that play music, like all my friends and stuff that are playing music, it's like they don't know they never traditionally learned how to play music. They started making songs with their friends, like
yeah, of course, totally.
So that's cool, dude. You pick up like any like weird hobbies or anything?
No, playing video games and making music.
Oh yeah, it's
things I've been doing my entire life. Like,
What video games you been playing recently?
Oh, hold on, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm just tinkering with the stupid Zoom thing.
No, you're good, dude.
I just played Elden Ring for like 160 hours.
Damn.
I'm here doing that.
And I like beat it, like I did a lot of stuff. I feel good about it. And I just stopped like playing it and all games because like I don't want to play anything else now. It doesn't matter,
Whoa.
Because Elden Ring was like so good, you're saying, or?
Exactly, yeah. Because Elden Ring is so good. I just do not care about any. Like I've played games since I was very young.
Yeah.
Since I was like 5. And I'm not trying to say Elden Ring is the best game ever, but like it is a game that does feel like a once in a lifetime like epical thing that like you can kind of just chill on afterwards. Like if I played something else, I would be comparing it to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Put another action game or like a open world sandbox game, I would just be like, this is just Elden Ring Jr.
I know. We've seen a bunch of people online, at least, and then people we've talked to, Howie Palumbo and Jordan Reyes, they've both they both love the shit out of it. Marsha Fisher as
You guys
well.
both not played it? What are you waiting for?
Oh, I have.
Yeah,
I finally
I
got an
haven't.
Xbox. I got an Xbox One at the start of the year, and I played, I think, like 2 hours of Doom, and then I was just like, I still don't need to play games for a bit. I played a lot of Destiny, circa 2014 to 16, and loved the shit out of the gunplay of that game.
I never played that one. It looks cool though. It's like sci-fi roguelike something.
Things never quite added up, but I love it. It's like Phantasy Star Online. It honestly was basically Phantasy Star Online for Halo people, and I loved that. But I got out of video games and got into just collecting tapes. So
yeah, and writing back tapes and such. Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah, the last game that I got into, which I still play, like I was really into it, dude. Like my video games go in like weird, like month or 2 month like bursts of like getting into it. But I was like playing I got like a Switch a couple years ago, and I still haven't beat Zelda, but that's the game I usually go to when I'm playing. That game is so sick.
Oh, dude, that's the only game that can compare to Elden Ring in the long run.
Dude, isn't that game crazy? Like that game is just
Elden Ring wouldn't exist without Breath of the Wild. Like,
yeah,
it's like it builds on that precedent for sure.
Oh, really? Just like the open world, like.
And Breath of the Wild was the game that I felt the same about. In this, like, I can take a breather from this whole world after I finish it.
Oh, really?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because that's also once in an era game. Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm honestly afraid because, like, everybody keeps like teasing online, like, Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm just like, dude, like,
I'm gonna play the stuff out of that. I'm gonna play that so hard, of course. Like, I can't wait for that. I'm really eager for that.
I'm just afraid that it's not going to be as good as Breath of the Wild.
Well, who cares, dude? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, things can be not as good or more good as other things, and it's still fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That was my comprehensive, like, neutral philosophy. Things can be not as good or more good than other things.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's that's true. Did you beat Breath of the Wild like all the way through, like 100%? Like, did everything?
Yeah, I did all the shrines. I didn't do all of the Koroks because that's like way too many. But I did everything other than Koroks for sure.
Yeah, nice. I get overwhelmed just because there's like so much stuff to do in that game. Like I'm down to like the last like divine beast that I need to like free or whatever, and I'm just like stalling because I don't want to like beat the main quest yet.
Which one of the beasts?
What was that? Which beast?
Which beast? Yeah.
It's like the one that's on the volcano.
Oh yeah, is that like a?
It's a lizard, I think. It's like a giant
lizard thing. Oh yeah, okay, that one's cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like the giant like lizard. I forget what it's called, but I just got like a bunch of like fireproof potions because I just could not figure out how to get into there. Like I got to like whatever the fire region is, something I forget what it's called, but like I just kept catching on fire, and I was like, dude, what the hell is going on? But I finally found the potion. So
hell yeah, there's probably some like armor you could wear too or something.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, at some point I gotta find that. I just got the Master Sword actually.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought the Master Sword was like some big thing, but it's kind of just like a do it when you can,
It's just another weapon that you have.
It's so interesting. Yeah, it's like that's what's so like interesting about this game is like I thought it was going to be like some part of like the main quest, but it's just kind of like the kings in like each town are just like, you don't have your Master Sword. Where's that? It's kind of just like go get it when you can,
It just shows that you have explored enough to make it like, like you're the next level guy that can handle the next level of challenges,
Yeah. It still kind of pisses me off though how it runs out of energy, dude. I was kind of really hoping that I would just finally have a weapon that would never break, but it's like they still do it to you.
That is one aspect of Breath of the Wild that is so frustrating constantly is the weapon endurance.
Dude, it annoys me so much
all the time, and you have to like conserve the weapons that are like super good for like the right moment because they're gonna be all fucked up.
Exactly, dude. No, you're good. No, literally.
Let me say, Elden Ring, no weapon endurance. Every weapon you have, you can just use until it's gone.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. Or like at least
until it's gone, until you decide to use a different weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Or at least like Fallout 3, they had like weapon endurance, but it's like you could repair them, So it's like
right.
Yeah.
Far Cry 2 weapon endurance for the best.
What was that one
Weapon
like?
endurance is a stat that no one wants to see. It's
Literally,
like
dude.
it's too much management. You know what I mean?
Dude,
It sounds like the most niche, stupid thing to say. Weapon endurance. No.
It's there for like meta-analysis purposes about human degradation of the soul or something.
Yeah.
That's when it's kind of interesting.
Dude, it gets to the point too where like I'll literally just avoid fighting enemies because I'm just like, dude, I have really good weapons right now. I don't want to use them.
Death Stranding is the ultimate endurance game. Have you guys played that?
What is it?
Death Stranding.
I haven't played it.
Demoed the opening in a film class I was in. I
The
have
whole
watched.
thing, like, it's not just endurance of like your weapon, but it's like
It's
every
the
single
behavior.
object you have is like constantly decaying, and you have to just deliver stuff to other people, and it's like a constant race against time, and it's so stressful the entire time, and all your stuff is degrading constantly, like stuff you're supposed to bring to other people, stuff that you need for yourself, weapons, all your like ammo and stuff, all that is just constantly like you have to like manage it all because it's all like rotting, and you know it's like a allegory for climate change and et cetera.
Is this a new game or something?
It came out in like 2017 or something.
Oh, okay.
2019.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the
Okay,
Kojima game. It seems so over the top insane, but I'm so glad it exists. I never played it.
I that was the last game that I finished before Elden Ring, pretty much. Like I spent a lot of time in that game. All these games are just like full like novels, like you can spend like it's like reading like like the Brothers K or something. It's like you spend a whole chunk of your life with it, and then like it colors your your daily like little free time, and then you're like done with it, and it's like you put down the novel. You know what I mean?
No, literally, that's how it is. That's how I see it. See, I don't know, video games that I play like that too. It's also cool, like you compared it to like a book or something like that, or like a novel, because it's like you can put it down if you're not done and then come back to it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is where I left off.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
And it offers you more hours of entertainment than like a movie or something.
For sure. Yeah.
It's like you have to sink time into it and get into the world. I would say the same pace that I like read a big long novel is similar to the pace that I would play a game to completion.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 40 to 50 hours or something.
Yeah, straight up.
Novel. Maybe a way shorter novel would take you like 2 afternoons. But
yeah.
I'm on some long novels. I feel that right now.
What are you reading?
I'm reading the oh god, I forget the author's name. It's U2 at the End of the World, a 500-page novelization of U2's Octung Baby tour. It has everything you want to know about this band. If they're gonna do that U2 biopic or whatever, and this is all they should do.
Wait, are they gonna do that, or
they're gonna? That's a real thing. They're gonna do it to.
Is it cast?
It hasn't been cast yet. We're excited to find out.
Bono, dude. Okay, let's think. Probably someone like Irish or British. It has to be someone Irish, or people will be upset about representation. Like we cannot have a non-Irish Bono.
Yeah, straight up.
Could we get like Ben Affleck, like someone who's just terribly wrong?
Like, Daniel Day-Lewis could have done it, like in the 80s, like that. He would have been the perfect Bono. He is Bono. Like they're both like method.
Oh, Russell Brand. Just get Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. No, he's already like played. He's already like parodied like rockers, so he can't go back to sincerity.
Oh, true. That's true.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's gonna be some Irish dude that we don't know about. What was that one show that was like? It was like the teens in Ireland are like frisky. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's called Normal Humans or something. Is it?
What? I've never heard of this.
I don't remember this one. I watched Moonchild and Father Ted. Those are like my two Irish.
It's called Normal People. Normal People. It was like the Irish answer to like Degrassi or Skins. It was really good. I thought it was great. So someone from that show is going to play Bono and The Edge and Adam Clayton and the other Tommy Johnson. I don't know. Wait, who's the fourth guy?
Oh wait, it's Larry Mullen's son.
Oh wait, what was it? Larry Mullen? Yeah, that's the one I missed. Okay. Yeah. Is he a junior?
Yes, that's why we call him Larry Mullen's senior son.
Okay, I got it.
I guess we should end real questions.
Yeah, Max. I guess like
if you want to, yeah.
so we were gonna say what were your beginnings as a musician? What were some, formative music moments and like inspiration? And like what was your like intro to DIY culture and like I guess just like what kept you for so long?
I like started playing piano when I was very young, and then just started having like guitars and like, well, no, I like bought like a bass was my first instrument,
Mhm.
like our local like store or whatever, and played that at a time when I was growing up between the ages of like 12 to like 15 or whatever, and like that like led me into like high school bands of various stripes, like the kind of thing that you play when you're a teen, like cover bands and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then like our own weird like little freaky like math rock bands or whatever,
Hell yeah.
and then going to college, kind of like more of that, and then just always playing. Throughout this process, while I was playing bass primarily in bands, I was like playing guitar and keyboards and just like synths or whatever I had, keyboards, whatever I had access to, and then like getting into the post like college kind of world, it was like thinking about playing in groups or bands like in a more improv way or something, or like thinking about like more informal collaborations focused on like a live show. So that would be like more focused on like using pedals to manipulate synths or whatever, or oscillators, and doing a more like group like noise or drone kind of
Mhm.
thing. And I guess in a sense that's kind of more identified with like the DIY culture of that period,
Yeah.
which was like 10 years ago, I guess, when I started doing this. But obviously that extends far beyond that. Like we were like late to that game in many ways.
Mhm.
Not late because it still occurs, I guess. But just thinking about the generational like movement of these kind of styles, like we were like the the next or two generations away from like someone like Emeralds, who like we looked up
Yeah.
to a lot,
Mhm.
or like OPN early stuff, or many artists in that
When
kind of world that
when
were
you
like,
were in college, were you listening to the tapes or stuff coming out on those labels at the time, or like
yeah,
just have
definitely.
following?
And like me and Doug went to see OPN and Son of Ra play in like 2009. We were like
Oh God.
19.
That's wild.
Um, and there was something else in the bill. I can't remember. It was like in like Wicker Park. It was like before either of those groups like or projects like moved beyond that layer, and it was just like kind of like a DIY show kind of thing. Of course, they had been releasing music on their own and like in their own labels and projects and stuff, but we were like 19 or whatever. It was super inspiring, and I know that I'm just gonna like speak for the ghost of Doug who would be here. He also with the Neon Marshmallow Fest that happened in Chicago, which I also attended some of, but which he attended like a lot of,
Mhm.
was like a chance for those kind of artists to come play music in Chicago. And so that's where I saw like projects like C. Spencer, yeah, and like
Oh, sick.
Tidings and Emeralds, OPN, etc. More noise stuff. So that was a big thing. Sorry.
You good.
And then we just kind of like started to do our own thing and just keep reaching out to other artists and people we saw on tour, we played with, that became our friends, to about releasing music and like playing more shows, and when they would come in town we booked their shows. It's just how the like DIY network unfolds,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
Oh
for
yeah.
anybody,
Yeah.
like everyone just has their own little like branch of it about people that they know that
Mhm.
are their buds. So yeah, here we are 10
In
years later.
oh yeah. In that time, maybe I'm getting my information wrong. Maybe it was Doug. Which one of you interned for Thrill Jockey?
That was Doug, yeah.
Yeah, that was Doug.
But those were our good bud. I mean, like I've known the Thrill Jockey family for a long time. People that have worked for them are my close friends, and like people have like graduated from there, including Doug, and like gone on to other zones that are like still our good buds.
Uh-huh.
And Bettina and like the label are incredible still. So like they're a big influence on us for sure.
I'm always surprised at the mail order or whenever I check the wire and I'm like, oh, they had like an incredible amount of stuff come out. Because I don't know, Cranky is no longer in Chicago and I love a lot of their stuff, but
I mean, Drag City also keeps it super consistent all the time. Like those are the two, true influences on us in the city. No matter what, Drag City and Soul Jockey are both like, quote unquote, like indie major like institutions that can stand up with like, anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Drag City rocks.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always thought Thrill Jockey was from Baltimore, though. I didn't know they're from Chicago.
There's a lot of artists from Baltimore, and I believe Bettina was in the DC Baltimore area before, and she worked at Discord or something.
Okay.
And then
they've been Chicago since the early '90s.
Oh, really? I see. Okay.
In that early 2013 to 2015 window, I also know you were writing over at Tiny Mixtapes, and you were in the Chocolate Grinder feature there.
Yeah, it's true.
And because I also know they had apparently a really nice, lovely back end forum section. What were discussions like, and kind of what was your thoughts with internet music at the time? How things were.
I didn't even think about that because like it was just like like granular dissections of every single stupid album ever.
Yeah.
And like I don't mean stupid as stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just anything.
Yeah.
Like, tossed up for fodder as. Like is like why is this good? Like what people think about this? There's probably some like gossiping going on, but like just on the most nerd level possible, But it was more about people just like celebrating stuff that they love, especially in that forum,
totally.
Setting. And there would be a bunch of new promos that would come in, people would listen to them all and check out and like be like, I'm reserving this one or whatever, And it was like in like a nice like like a CMS like a interface that you could like scroll and access all the demos and all this stuff. So it was like that was cool. That was probably the closest I've ever gotten to like real music journalism, quote unquote. But it's like TMT, which is just like for fun and cool. It's like Doug also says like he was like, okay, hold on, let me rewind. There's a period where I would have to work on TMT write-ups like I have to like deliver a certain amount every week. You know what I mean? Just because like that was how it was run, and like it was fun to like keep active and release stuff, like write stuff every week about something you've heard. And just keep the chocolate grinder like rolling, kind of like with no, like I didn't get paid a cent for any of it ever. It doesn't really matter. It's just like for the sake of being involved and like repping your buds or repping shit you like, stuff you like, and and like there was this one time when like I had like like finish a bunch of write-ups before I went to bed on like Sunday night or something, and I was like, oh dude, like Dad, I can't like do this and that, I can't hang out. He was like, dude, it's TMT, you can just write a poem about sand and like and submit it, and that could be the write-up. And I was like, yeah, I mean like that's the joke. The like the abstraction of the text was super inspiring no matter what among the writers. That's something you never see now at all.
For sure.
There's no like poetic. No, I don't want to say never. That still exists, but there's very little crossover between what I would describe as like a free form, poetic, free associative vibe with regards to music reviews. Like no one like wants that anymore. People want it, but it's just not around. Everything is like cutthroat now, and like in like music writing, it has to be like
perfect.
I don't know, like it has to like sell the experience.
I see.
Like it has to be more targeted.
It's something I've definitely, I guess, felt on my end because I don't know, Thomas, you and I were both MDs. We saw a lot of PR that we got, or that type of writing, and that writing genuinely does depress me to a degree of like, hey, if I read too much of this, I'm being sold something that I just like. If I'm trying to write about stuff, also though, you have to like maybe sometimes fall back on that, or you're trying to find a personal connection. And it sucks that there's no outlet that has a lot of different voices that have, I think, good at doing a personal connection, because you can't cover everything.
Yeah. Wait, so you were talking about you're talking specifically about like reading like press releases? Is that what you're describing?
Press release writing stuff. I think I've got a
Oh, man, I
suicide
would love
point.
to hear you talk about this because I write press releases. So like,
I'm so sorry. I feel
I'm not.
I mean, on one end, I do
What are the major cons? Like, what turns you off?
I guess just like, I mean, I feel like to a point, like, or at least that's like what would turn me. Like, I personally liked more so when it was less like newsletter-ish, like I'm trying to sell you. And like I get that sometimes I guess you probably have to do that to catch like certain people's attention. Yeah,
that's
like
mode you have to inhabit for sure.
Yeah, like you definitely like I feel like that makes it easier and like you definitely like catch like certain people's attention by looking official and stuff. But like to me, I liked more of like I mean, like, and like, obviously I knew like Hazu Mountain. So like whenever we get like, I don't know, Hazu Mountain or something, I'd be like, hell yeah, you know, because you guys were like already kind of like established, but like,
full disclosure, you had like given us stuff for Fun Drive. Oh yeah. Thank you all
yeah,
so much.
you know, yeah, but like, you know, when there's like, say like some random artists that I've never heard of, or like even now, dude, like I get like, you know, requests all the time for people like that want a gig or something in like, you know, Ventura, like Santa Barbara or something. And if they're literally just like writing me like, hey, we're looking for a show. And then they literally just send me like a press release. We're so-and-so, we've done this and this and this and this and this and this. And like, it's kind of like, it's just like so like not personal at all. It's kind of just like,
they don't even try to like introduce themselves or whatever.
Exactly. Like, it's just like straight up, here's a press release. Can you book us for a gig? It's like next, like, you know, it takes.
It's kind of like they expect, and we've been in this mode too. Of course, we blindly sent emails out at various stages of our like label and band's existence.
Yeah.
But it's like, you kind of, I understand how that's super annoying, but in some sense, I'm guessing if they do that like hundreds of times, maybe there will be zero responses, but there might be like one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to circumvent that whole like system and just know who you're talking to and make friends with people and then talk to them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, like it's like,
it'd be easy to not spam people if you just like had a couple friends in different zones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you like, when I book people, it's usually because it will be like, hey, so-and-so said your shows are really fun. That's why we're hitting you up, you know? And it's like, say someone it's like already hosted, I've had on the radio show, or like I've had it like a gig or something. And they're like, hey, they told me to reach out to you. Like, we're going to be touring soon. Like, can you give us a gig? It's like, yeah, dude, that sounds sick. You know, like, I don't know, more so than just like an impersonal, like, hey, hey, TBD, you know, it's like, you don't even know who I am, dude, you know?
Everyone's accidentally left the like, hey, name, like, copy pasta, like,
exactly, you know, it's like, yeah,
it happens all the time, you know. I mean, one of the goals as a professional emailer is to make sure you don't mess up the hey blank.
Literally, dude.
It takes a long time to make sure that you pay attention to it, no matter what. Like that's like essential.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then you're immediately marked as a noob. You know.
No, literally, dude. And it's just like, come on, man. Like.
Addressing the name of the person correctly is like quite important.
Yeah, it's like super important. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess like that's like kind of like I guess a good example too, I guess going back to like writing and stuff, like the way Maddie like writes some pieces, like Maddie wrote about this like band called like Mutual Benefit, who like we have some friends in.
Oh yeah, no, that was a long form though. That was a special piece.
Yeah, but that one was like, I really like that one. That was one of my favorites because it was like literally talking about like the scene and kind of just like laying it all out and being like, okay, this is more than just like wanting to like, I guess like sell a record or something. It's like literally talking about what it was like, what it came from or something, I guess, you know?
Totally. Yeah, sketching out like the different like forces at work in the scene and like the different you know like bands and people that come together and like play shows together and define like especially like a city, you know, that's super important, especially in cities that are less densely like, you know, packed with artists and acts, you know, aside from like, you know, New York, LA, Chicago, you know, like anywhere else is like fascinating to see how scenes like coalesce and like who, you know, like emerges as kind of like the like chief of like a certain DIY like scene, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That
you know,
always happens. Like who you hit up like for like a show or whatever. There's multiple people in different like, you know, in different cities, but it's like they will always hook you up and know who to like put you in touch with, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what, yeah, it's so sick. I love like DIY networking like that. It's just, it's cool how that happens.
The mayor of Chicago is Ben Billington. I'm not like saying that like jokingly. I'm just saying like he's a dude with immense connections in.
It's not the other person. It's not your certified budget lover.
Yeah. Like he has. I mean, okay. I'm just talking about him purely like if you're like a noise act or a avant-garde act, you would of course hit Ben up first to become in Chicago because like he has connections with a bunch of venues that will actually put on a show that are like real venues and not someone's house.
Mm-hmm.
And like there are people that are analogous to him, so to speak, or to that role in like every city in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I could like rattle them off, but it would just be annoying. You know what I mean? Like
names, dude. Throw some top names though, dude. I'm trying to hear it.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You can't give it away. It's a secret hand.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give it away. I gave away Ben, which was already annoying. Don't email Ben. No one do that.
Don't email him
unless you know him. Unless you know who he is and you talk to him. Then yeah. Anyways.
Well.
Maddie, do you want to take us into, I guess, the next topic here?
Oh, I guess we could keep going down. We go down some quick music rabbit holes here, I suppose. Crack into some stuff. Really, just want to know what's the current Mukqs 2K22 rig looking like right now. I don't know if we've
it's
a little bit of reading
it's
on
the same thing as it's been for a long time.
All right.
I just got a new sampler, but I haven't even plugged it in and started working with it yet because I haven't just had time to start like new songs or a new record. But everything goes into the 404, the Roland sampler, the Roland SP404, and that's just how. Like, there's a huge rig of synths and mostly like 80s and 90s focused like synth modules and keyboards. I don't really have that. I mean, I've got like 5 synths from that era, and then I have the Waldorf Blofeld, which is more of a modern digital synth. All those are plugged into like a set of loopers that I can use to sample stuff and then record into the sampler. So everything I've played for the last, even like every album I've made in the last 4 years or whatever, or more maybe, ends up being played in the final round from the sampler. So it's like the things that you hear on the recordings is just like one take of like the buttons, and there's a lot of improv that goes into that, and how certain samples are like long swaths of sound that are like a minute long or whatever that scroll through stuff. Certain ones are like more like active like drum elements or stuff that you can trigger, and I guess the goal is just have like the hands-on final take for everything.
So when you are again at least assembling those sounds, you kind of have an idea and objective beforehand of where it's going. You can see at least piecemeal.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, whenever I try to like make an album, or I think about everything in terms of the release itself, like from the beginning, like what's going to be in the. I usually even plan it down to like how long I want it to be. It's like this is going to be like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something like that. And then think about. Of course, as I record stuff, it might not land right in that neighborhood. It might end up being 4 minutes longer in the long run over all the tracks or whatever. But I'm thinking about the like vibe, or like the kind of like almost like the genre like markers and the like foundation of each track, and that's how I kind of like plan something before I even start recording. And it's like, okay, I'll make this one like a more frantic, like noisy, scrapey one, and then I'll do the next thing as I'm thinking about this more of a like loopy, like a rhythmic, wonky carnival song or something. Like so it's always that from the beginning, no matter what. And of course, there are some deviations where it's like the thing didn't turn out exactly like that, but it still has that seed idea in it. So then I just make albums or EPs or whatever releases, just thinking about like finishing each of these tracks, these vibes that sketch like a story in my head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then supposing though, again, how could that change with who's in the room that you're kind of improvising with? Like, I guess the two cases that really
in those cases, I definitely have to bring stuff ahead of time, and so we would talk about it and be like, what kind of stuff would you want to do? I mean, there were periods with Google Smith where I had like keyboards and stuff that were there that we could like write songs on, so to speak, or like think about the vibes that we want to incorporate into each session. But at this point, it's like, given my process of like distilling sounds from the big like synth table into the sampler, if I was to play with somebody else, we would be like, okay, what kind of stuff do we want to do? You know, like, and then I would prepare that and put it on the sampler, for example. I guess that's not true, because there's another avenue that I also do a lot, which is playing a tape back from a tape deck that has samples on it and looping it with loopers and pedals. In that case, it's like the pre-recorded audio is like set in stone, and it's easy. It's like using a sampler, but it's just scrolling, you know? And so it's like,
okay.
In those cases, that allows for a lot more improv type stuff, because I can be more gestural and extreme with the looper and like with the effects. So it's like, that's more like a noise set kind of thing. It's like it's playing stuff from the tape that might be like some kind of weird synth loop I made, or drums or whatever. But I can go like, you know.
Was that the one you were doing with Riley Walker for Astral Spirits?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Crazy Bread tape is exactly like that. Yeah.
And then,
wait, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. And then though with like Sharkula, kind of that, or you're coming with like beats, literally kind of.
Yeah, like, Sharkula, I'm just playing back beats, 100%, because I made those in the same process I described with the sampler, and they're going into a final form. And then I'm not even triggering from the sampler live. I'm playing it back from a tape and then adding some effects or whatever. So in that case, it's like, it is kind of like karaoke for Sharkula, because I'm playing back tape. I'm not improvising like those beats again, because I like constructed them in the tape previously. So I'm just playing it back from the tape. But then, like I said, I'm also like looping and like kind of like spamming stuff and like doing different, you know, little like details, but it's still playing back a track, you know.
Does that translate as well with some of the live stuff because you've done shows opening for Squid with that? Is it still kind of like that?
It's the same thing, yeah. For every show we've done, and in that context, it's like we've never rehearsed together. It's only him approaching it as a freestyle, like you know, recital, so to speak.
That's sick.
Of course, he brings like, it's hard to even talk. Like, Brian is such like a consummate like hardcore improviser, and he doesn't even want to admit it. Like, he, in some ways, he like thinks that it's like embarrassing to be like a sick freestyler. Like, he thinks that, like, people love like written raps more and being, you know, super like, you know, like it's hard to even explain. To him, it's like the pinnacle of hip hop are people with like internal rhymes and like super complex, like, you know, like literate, so to speak, like, you know, fancy, insane like verse structures.
Yeah, like deep meanings and like some, yeah.
Yeah, but he's an absolute master of freestyling and can just rap forever and like keep it entertaining and have moments where he like any improviser, he has moments where he like dips into a more like spoken cadence, or like, you know, takes a breath, and then moments where he's like on the beat hardcore and just like rapping like he's in like, you know, like a battle rap.
Yeah.
And all those like kind of cohere into like his perfect, I think like he's like an incredible MC. Like, I'm so like lucky to work with him. And you know, it's hard to even like think about like the like way that his improvised approach is like so perfectly suited for like the experimental and avant and like, you know, like noise and like DIY world, because like he is like, you know, someone that could rap over literally anything. Like, you could bring him into a jazz ensemble and he would like slay it, you know, like it wouldn't, you know. And yeah, I just, you know, someday, Brian, if you hear this, you know that you could just rap over anything and it would sound sick.
It rules. We were both revisiting again.
Yeah, I was like texting Maddie today while I was at work, and I was like, dude, the Sharkula collab tape, dude, that it's sick. You know, I was like, this is sick, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, making beats in that fashion is a lot of fun for me. Like it's like keeping drum elements rolling for a certain number of bars and thinking about like the verse length and like how the song is constructed in a narrative fashion and how the transitions like move from section to section and how long some things stay in the mix. It's like very deliberate. It's like the ultimate use of the sampler in that sense, in like triggering a narrative like that's very on the grid, but also evolving constantly. It's like you can lay it out very clearly and plan it out.
Yeah. That's so
But then there's
tight.
also like hip hop production that's the total opposite, where it's like you can just let a loop roll, maybe add a couple things, and people can rap over it, and it's just as compelling.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of schools.
Yeah. What you're doing with Sharkula I thought was really tight.
Well, I appreciate that. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't think we really fit in anywhere near contemporary hip hop, so it doesn't really matter. It's like
Yeah.
that's part of it. It's like
Yeah.
you just gotta experiment and figure out your own zone.
Mm-hmm.
But I listen to all kinds of hip hop like my whole life.
We got some fan questions there.
Yeah. Some people asked you about your hip hop taste.
Some fan questions.
We got some fan questions in the end that we're saving for you, dude.
Okay, cool.
So we're entering the sort of business interview, you know what I'm saying, portion of this chat. So Hazu Mountain, the record label you
tell us all about it.
Yeah, the label you co-run with Mr. Doug Kaplan is turning 10 this year. It's been heavily fostered by the likes of Tiny Mixtapes, other tape blogs, and various happenings across the world. In that time, would you say Hazu Mountain met their goals for the decade, and where has Hazu Mountain improved the most?
Ooh.
Very, very business interview, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I would say we met our goals for the decade.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
So our goals are like quite simply like, just go as hard as possible and have no regrets. And like there's no way I could like say like we didn't work as hard as we wanted to, or we messed up on something. Like it's all good. There's no precedent for success. You know what I mean? Like you can just keep, as long as you keep going and releasing stuff, you succeed. Like it doesn't matter.
How have you guys like battled like burnout? Because like I personally haven't experienced like burnout yet in terms of like the DIY things that I'm doing, but like how do you like I guess battle that? Because after 10 years, I'm sure you reach periods of like low points, and then you find like that like inspiration again where you're like, hell yeah, dude, like let's get it rolling and everything's going real fast.
I dude, okay, this is the thing. Okay, I don't want to like, I want to say this in like the most chill way possible, but it's like putting out the music that we release at the pace we release is like it's super fun, and it doesn't feel like work.
That's sick.
I would say Doug puts in more hourly work because he does the shipping and he approaches the label as like the full-time guy. Whereas I'm like the one that is more or less like preparing releases and doing artwork and like just like thinking about what to release next. He does that too, but so it's like for me it's easy to avoid burnout because doing art and release related stuff is like the fun thing to counteract other things that burn me out.
You're staying industrious.
Yeah.
It's like using what you might foresee or perceive rather as like a grind as like the fun part of your day. I don't mean to get like self-helpy or like life hacky about it, but you know what I'm saying. It's like making music and working on album art and working on releases and all that stuff is like super fun and like all I want to do the most. So it's like that. It's just like a frosting upon what I have to do in other parts of life to like even have the opportunity to do that stuff.
So it's like I guess you just approach it as like it's like not work at all. So there's just like no burnout there because it's kind of just like a hobby too.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
There's burnout in everywhere else, but that's not even like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't know, maybe even having the thing that you treat as the real exciting, location, like makes it hard to feel burnt out in other ways because you just work through that stuff in order to get to that stuff, the other stuff afterwards. But I mean, I definitely felt burnt out in my life when I was like working full time as a teacher of elementary school students when I was 21 years old. That was an extreme burnout period of my life.
Yeah.
Where I like never slept and like just like worked myself to the bone. That's over 10 years ago now, like I've had like numerous other bizarre jobs in the interim, some of which require intense concentration and some of which are, more like just some passive activity that you do to make money, like, data entry or, editing stuff. I don't mean to say that's passive, but you know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of different, different modes of working. But making music and working on a record label stuff is the coolest, funnest thing to do out of anything, like other than, I don't know. No, that's pretty much it.
I think it's also cool, like now that you guys have been around for like 10 years. I talk about this like with people for like the local stuff that we're doing with like radio and like, just whatever DIY stuff we're doing like regionally. We're like part of like, some kids are going to find us in like 15, like 20 years, I guess, like the stuff that we're doing and be like, this is sick. And we're basically like documenting like an era within a scene. I guess like, do you kind of like see like Hosmo like that too, where it's like, you guys are kind of like you guys now have like a documented like 10-year span of like a scene,
I don't think that, I don't mean to like burst your bubble, but I don't think that many people will look back at us or you.
I mean, not very many people, but like,
you know what I'm saying? I don't think about it that way, honestly, because like, I don't think about, in 15 years, someone will say this is cool. Like, I don't care about that at all.
Yeah.
Because whatever, like we'll be older and like probably dead or something.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
So I just think about it like the next thing we have coming out is the most important thing right now. And it's like,
which it is. Is it the Horse Lords release?
Oh yeah, that is our next thing.
It's very important.
Andrew Bernstein, is our next release.
Let's go.
So it's like that. The only way to reach the point where people care about you in the future is to think in the present, like you're like burning your last oil.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's true. Yeah.
Like if people that like get hung up on like thinking about, I'm gonna be, maybe someday someone will discover.
Someone will care about me in the future.
Like,
yeah.
They're like wishing upon a star. Like,
for sure.
You really have to fucking grind. Freaking grind in order to get to the point where more than 10 people think that about you. You know what I mean? So it's like, and this sounds like almost contradictory to what I said earlier about it being just a fun time. But like part of the fun time is grinding.
No, definitely. And that's like, I feel that too, where it's like, I guess like that's why you do it, just because it's like a fun time, like that's like first and foremost why you do any of this stuff, because like it's not like it's
why would you do something that upset you?
Exactly.
I have friends that are like, this is my last album and I'm never doing it again.
It's like, why are you even doing it in this last album? Like,
and it's like, bro, no, like your last album, what are you gonna do after this? You're gonna go and like watch like Downton Abbey from the beginning or something? Like, what are you talking about? It's not your last album. I always say that to these people that are in that mode. There aren't that many of them, but in some ways, it's like kind of like a cry for help or something. It's like people need to address me and say, "Keep going," and then you do that. You're just like, "Yes, please keep going." Like, and if you don't care enough to do that, then they can figure that out themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you have to be a lifer.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no future I imagine where I'm not doing something similar to what I'm doing now, where I'm like making music and visual art. Because it's like, I don't have that much time left. I probably have like double of what I've lived now. I'm like halfway done,
Yeah.
So it's like, this is the coolest stuff that I've found to do.
Yeah.
Unless I
keep doing it.
Unless I somehow like, get integrated into like an alternative reality situation where I'm like making like 4D like experiential like VR games for like the children of like wealthy parents. No, I don't want to do that at all. As I described that, it sounded so lame.
It gets worse as it goes.
I was like, no, I just want to make the tunes like with my little synths and with my friends and release stuff. Like that's it, you know.
I'm expecting to see a Mukqs record 25 years from now. Still churning them out, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Here's a little bit of inside information. I'm like having like a quandary about like maybe changing the name of the project, but I don't really want to.
Damn.
Like, I don't want to like break the continuum because I love the nature of having tons of different stuff under one name. But also, it's like I could just keep releasing stuff as Mukqs and as another name too.
That's true.
How about Additions Mukqs? How about that?
Mukqs, yeah. And there's no really reason why. I just feel like it would be kind of fun to like spice it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to be like, this one's called like Bilbus Johnson or whatever. You know, I mean, like I don't know what it's going to be called. I have absolutely no idea. I haven't even thought about it. Like it takes a lot to like name a project.
Different.
Part of it is also that I want to work with my girlfriend, my partner, you know, my person Emma, on some music, and I'm like, maybe I could, you know, just make a new name for that, and that could be the next thing, or you know.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
We're still making music with Natalie and Doug, like as Google Smith. Like we're taking our time, but like we're gonna work up to some, you know, new tunes. So it's like, you know, why not just start a new thing? Who knows?
I mean, I don't see any issue with that. I feel like there's nothing wrong with like starting a new thing to define like a different like period of time or sound or whatever you're doing. You know, you can always come back to the old one too.
Part of me is also like, I shouldn't do that because it's like I'm like abandoning the like diverse palette of sounds that I made under one name previously. You know, it's like, why wouldn't this thing fit within there? You know, I guess anything that I make on my own, I think has to be Mukqs pretty much now. It's just like locked in.
Well, I mean, Tim Thornton, he's got all the monikers for his different.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Angel, all of our buds have many monikers. Maybe I'm moving in like opposition from that and thinking about how it can just be one name and it has everything in it. You know what I mean?
Or like if you, I don't know, I'm just thinking of like maybe like from a fan's perspective or something, they'll click on your name on Discogs or something, and then it'll just show all of your different monikers, and they'll be able to just explore it for like different things, I guess, you know,
like the Angel
where it's like
she has like 60 monikers,
you know, and it's like, I guess if it's like if it's in like database form or something like that, like everything's still kind of there in one place, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
No, you're right. Totally. Well, the future is long. I've got double my life.
You still got double your life to figure this out, dude. You know,
my life right now.
I'll still be getting the tapes either way. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever name, I guess you come up with in the future.
Yeah.
You'll still have your fans, you know?
Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
Oh yeah. Maddie, do you want to jump into any of these next points that we have here?
Oh god, we should probably wrap up the business interview portion. A couple of quick things. Just how is the label doing with supply chain snags? I know back in December of 2020, y'all were flirting with doing more vinyl, and then many things happened, and now it's about a tape a month still. But how is that?
Yeah, we're not doing records anymore. I mean, like we will at some point, but we only have one record planned for this calendar year.
Yeah,
it's just like it's not even worth waiting and trying to scrape together well, it's not even about scraping. Okay, this is the thing. Like, we really want to get the music out to people like not too long after it's created, and like keep it flowing, and like keep our friends not waiting around for the music to hit like the real world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is we just do CDs and tapes for everything. We're doing one LP this year. If things change, of course, we'll probably revert to like 3 LPs a year or something. But no matter what, everything is on CD and tape, which you can get pretty streamlined manufacturing wise. You can plan for when they're going to arrive, and you have them in like a month and a half or less, you know?
I also think it's sick that you guys have just been doing CDs since before they were cool again.
I mean,
it's sick. I don't know. It's cool. You guys are like OGs, you know?
Before they were cool again, they were always there, man.
CDs were always sick.
Back since day zero.
they never left, dude. They never left.
To Amoeba and just go to the new CDs at the age of 15 and 20.
CDs are actually cool. Do you mean that sincerely, or are you just like joshing?
No, I'm dead serious. I think CDs are sick.
They're cool. Okay, tight. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that over there. I mean, I've got you got the tape all over
cool. I agree. CDs are very cool, but
I mean, I have like a different perspective before. I don't know. I mean, I never thought they were like lame or anything, but like, you know, I guess I was just buying into the hype that was like tape and vinyl, I guess, you know, which I guess is like kind of dumb. But
that hype persists and it still persists. Valid. I buy more tape and vinyl than CDs for sure.
Yeah, see, I mean, I still get more, but like now it's like I see CD as like a viable option to have in my collection. Huge. You know,
that's huge.
Yeah,
so I'm getting information about press releases and about CD viability. It's a focus group right now.
I'm gonna share my CD viability take. Yeah, please. I have become a huge proponent of using my library system and renting shit I have not.
Dude, that's how I found everything when I was growing up. Same exact thing.
So I've gone in and it's like, it's FK Twigs LP1, great. Random Nick Cave issue, great. Autobahn, great. The Smithsonian Folk Arts thing, great. Like I'm taking that. They had Bitchin's Brew, 40th anniversary edition, like great.
Obviously you could find all this stuff just at a click, but it's good to just localize it and find it physically and. Mm-hmm. Part of it, if you turn on to new stuff, like you're like, "What's this?" Like that's even more important than finding something at the library. That's how that's how I explored like a lot of like 20th century classical music, especially and like avant-garde music, like Xenakis and like Stravinsky and Varese and all those all kinds of mid and early 20th century like classical composers. They had their CDs at the library, and that was before you could find it on YouTube or whatever. And that was what I like devoured so much, because it was like music that was like library core, like of course they would have like Xenakis there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it was kind of before the era when you would find like pop necessarily. You might find one, whatever was popular at the moment, but it would often be checked out. It was like slim pickings, but you could farm through all kinds of classical music from like other cultures, especially, all kinds of like archival weird stuff. And like you mentioned folkways, like of course that stuff.
For sure.
Like going to the library and getting CDs was huge for me, for sure.
That's sick. I never, for some reason,
you just rip them onto MP3. Like, like that's. I started doing this after like burning a CD was a thing, or like having an MP3 collection. So it was like right after that became a thing. You know what I mean? Like right after that became commercially available. Probably when I was like 10 or 12 or whatever. It was like when
I benefited.
Like use Kazaa or Napster or whatever, and like have like a Winamp library. Wait, how old are you guys?
23, going on 24. Thomas, you just turned 25.
I just turned 26, actually.
26, fuck.
I love when you say "going on." That's so funny. It sounds like you're like embarrassed to be young.
Hey, dude.
Like,
I mean,
almost 24, man.
I got.
I'm not that much older. I'm only 32. I'm only I'm not that. I mean, I say this also desperately. I'm not that much older than you. So,
it's fun because I don't know. We grew up with the dregs of the 20th century consumer culture, and it's just there at a swap meet. So that's why like I'm really like I don't stream music except for Bandcamp or stuff off SoulSeek. It's like I just buy tapes.
And you get 10 tapes, right? I mean, you get tapes.
And then I do get a bunch of stuff from tabs, but it's like I go on eBay and I watch cassette lots, and I'm like, that's how I've gotten into stuff I never would have.
When you get that stuff, does it come with the shelves sometimes, or do you just get
Yes, I have.
Oh, it's huge. Then you get free shelving with this. That's wild,
dude. Maddie will like text me every like I don't know a couple times a week. Massive lodges posted on eBay.
Then I just wait. I have to hold my breath because I'll never bid on most of it. It's too pricey.
Yeah, dude. And Maddie will be like, "Yeah, there's like one or two tapes that I want in here for like $50, and I can just like sell off the rest and make my money back, and then put it towards another lot." And I'm like, "Yeah,
no, but that's a very shrewd angle. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
sick.
Having a acute awareness of what's in there to salvage, you know.
Yeah.
I'm watching Industrial Lots desperately. We're filling a Wax Tracks collection right now.
Oh, tight. Oh yeah. But you're getting every Wax Tracks release?
I don't know if it's gonna be every one, but we're getting to the point where I need those Ministry collabs.
Yeah.
I still need a lot of the main.
Wow, that's wild.
But yeah.
I was amazed to recently learn that freaking Autechre came out on Wax Tracks and cassette.
Yeah. Okay.
Wild.
So the
It was Incunabula or whatever, right?
Yeah. Did I put that away? Oh wait, no, I put it over here. Yeah, I got the tape of it right over.
You got the Wax Tracks Autechre tape
with the Wax Tracks TVT logo.
That's insane, dude! I can't believe you had that literally next to you, and I just named some. That's insane. Well, hell yeah. Good label.
Yeah, no, I mean that. God,
I'm obsessed with Wax Tracks. Like I worship everything on. Yeah, of course.
It works. What I'll say is that it works. I mean, that works as a Wax Tracks release far more than probably any other artificial intelligence. They put out a lot. They put out the Bites, that one from Black Dog Productions. They put out Surfing on Sine Waves.
Yeah.
I think B12, but yeah, that one has some like actual
B12. That's hey, I didn't know that. That's cool. Oh yeah.
Go Wax Tracks. Great calling.
Shout out Chicago's finest.
That's sick. Yeah, Matt, should we jump into some listener questions here?
Oh yes, listener questions.
Okay. Maddie, do you want to take this first one?
Yeah, of course. This one's just asking if you could explain your love of Young Thug in under a minute.
In under a minute? You want me to put on a timer? I could probably do that. Okay. I listen to Young Thug music almost every day of my life, no matter what. I think that he is like a human voice and like an artist that has expanded the boundaries of human expression in terms of like vocalizing and what we call rapping and singing. All those things are just like a simple element of his his palette of expression, and the way that he approaches making a song or a single rap verse or a chorus is totally unique, and has before it, of course, has some minor precedents, but even after it has existed for over 10 years, no one can approach some things that Thug has made like 6 years ago on like a formal or conceptual or even just like a basic like emotional level. Like the way that he approaches just like creating a song is like super inspiring and far beyond rap and just about astral considerations and just like natural, psychedelic, insane, like instinctual, but also very planned, complex delivery of like words and sounds. And okay, I'm already over a minute, but I'm going to keep going for briefly a little bit. I think that his approach to creating albums and curating sets of beats and thinking about how his music is delivered is super important to his like appeal or his quote unquote success, like, or in my heart just his like dominance. Like every single album is like super diverse, and the beats from years ago today still sound like futuristic as we reach like this like end of history time when hip hop beats can sound like anything, and it's just about like hitting that perfect alchemy in that moment. And his producers have had that for years and years, as have many contemporary producers that are still expanding. I don't mean to say that we've reached like the end of that at all. There's so much innovation going on in that world, but Thug's like beat selection has always been extremely trippy, like extremely like in my mind, quote unquote, futuristic, just for its like differences from a lot of other things and its integration into the tenets of popular hip hop, where people that like love like Drake or Lil Uzi, who is overtly a child of Thug, or Lil Baby, another child of Thug, or like any number of artists in that ilk, they're like used to his style now, even though it was like so insane, like just in like 2013. So it's like he has like produced, much like Gucci Mane, he's produced an entire like generation of like children that are exceeding him. Oh, Gunna, obviously I didn't mention that. That's not his one. just like people that have exceeded him in some ways in popularity, but like not used all of his stylistic elements, not like gone necessarily as deep, but like have moved on other ways towards popularity, maybe towards more melodicism or towards more like digestible music in some ways. Thug stands at the top of that entire chain as the least digestible, most insane MC all the time, and people are still like getting used to his style and starting to see it more as like normal, which is like the biggest, most insane accomplishment that you could achieve. Like it's like setting the highest bar, going the hardest, and making it the weirdest stuff, and like having everyone else be like trickling up. It's like a trickle up scenario.
Yes.
Like it makes no sense. Like and I would say Future is on a similar level. I'm obsessed with Future and have been for many, many years. But Future's like, I mean, say that as if I like know him. Huge. Future's more like a working a working man. Like he delivers what people need. And he always like brings the like perfect like vibe and like delivery and record that you expect. I don't mean to say he's predictable, but like he is more even keeled. Thug intentionally takes risks that are super like zany all the time, and also like super chilled out. Like Beautiful Thugger Girls was a precedent to this newest record, Punk, which are both very chill. And it's like, okay, here we are in the chill moment. It's like that contrast just like, I don't know, sets his catalog in like a different light. Future has chill moments too. He made like Hendrix, I would describe as a chill moment. I love that record, and that's more of like a poppy record. Anyways, yeah, that was my long-winded response.
That's a beautiful minute.
That was sick, dude.
That was like 4 minutes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like drag it on.
No, you're good. That was dope.
I'm with a lot of people on the young Thug wave. Like I haven't listened to a lot of the catalog. It just comes down to though. I just love hearing people just go off on him because I agree. I agree a lot with Jeffrey. Yeah. That's a huge leap as a Trappist self-actualization, and we're still getting there. I'm in. That we do it though. Question wise, because we're out.
Oh, that was it. That was all of the listener questions.
Yeah, we do have one more question though. I guess real quick, where can people keep up with all things Max, Hosmo, Goodwill Smith, whatever you want to shout out, I guess?
HowSoonMountain.bandcamp.com is a good place to start. That's just like, our label website that has every release that we put out. And you can find all that stuff on Bandcamp, Spotify, Tidal, blah, 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 whatever you want. Everything we release is also, I mean, you kind of got to know what it's called. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just type in How Soon Mountain. If you go to our Bandcamp and find something you want to listen to, you can find it on streaming.
Yeah.
You got Prolapse. You got Peppermill Rondo.
Yeah.
Village.
All these things.
So many.
The music that I make is under the name Mukqs, which is spelled Muqqs. And that's just Bandcamp too, mukqs.bandcamp.com. Me and Doug and our friend Natalie play in a band called Goodwill Smith. The Twitter account of that band, Goodwill Smith, is like my main social media outlet where I post stuff.
Dope.
And then Doug's is Twitter at Housey Mountain. So I mean, if you want to like follow us on Twitter, that's where we do most of our stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So we got one more question here. It's kind of the biggest one of the show, Max. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. What's up?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, Thomas.
A rat is going to jump into your mouth. Do you want this rat to jump into your mouth head first or butt first, and why?
I don't know.
Oh no, the look of fear.
No, not fear. I'm just thinking. I think if it's the butt, then you might get, like the tail down your throat and like maybe like the poop. But if you take the head, you're gonna get more like intense damage from claws and like biting.
Some teeth action.
I would probably go for the tail, right? The butt first. That's fine.
I personally would.
Yeah.
I think you've chosen wisely here. It was a white lab rat. Very clean little fella.
Yeah. So yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's
Not that
nice.
his teeth and claws. Of course, the back still has claws. You know what I'm saying? But the front probably are more mobile claws, and the teeth are there, and the biting is occurring. Also, you might survive more easily if it's butt first. Like I can probably spit him out, and like he's not gonna die. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised at how many people just instantly go like, I would just go head first and just bite its head off. It's like, damn, you don't even want this rat to survive. Like,
What the hell? What?
isn't that brutal, man? Everybody just wants to Aussie it, dude.
No, I don't want to do that. I want the rat to survive.
I usually take the rat butt first and then pet it on its head and calm it down and put it underneath my hat, and then we go and make some ratatouille.
Make some pasta, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, dude.
Questions.
Yeah.
Stripes.
Yeah, dude, that was sick. Max, that was like super inspiring too. I really like just hearing what you had to say about, I don't know, just being in it for so long. You know, that's just like really.
It's not even that long. My like friends, my people I look up to have been in for like way longer than me. I'm just like I'm like a sophomore. You know what I mean?
Hey, well, I mean,
college,
coming from like someone that's in, I don't know if we're going by like school years, I'd say coming from someone that's a freshman, I think it's inspiring, I guess. I don't know. I think it's sick.
I'm not. I really appreciate that. All I'm saying is that there are also a lot of people. You know, like it's a vast network of people that are that I would consider the amount of time that I put into it as like being way less than.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I know what you mean. But yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning into TBD, everyone. This is on KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. and NetNet Radio every Saturday, 4 p.m. This has been Max from Mukqs and all kinds of other things. Thanks for being on the show, Max.
Thank you. Cheers, y'all.
Yay.
Cheers.